Guys, today I'm going to blow your minds with the most disturbing truth in Greek mythology. Everyone knows the story of Pandora and her famous box, but nobody tells the truth about why she was created. Spoiler, it wasn't out of love for humanity, it was pure revenge. The real story of Pandora is about divine machismo, mass manipulation, and how the gods used a woman as a biological weapon against humanity. Let's start with the context, because without it, you won't understand all the cruelty. Remember the story of Prometheus I told you? That titan who stole fire from the gods to give to humanity? Well then, Zeus was pistoled with that situation. It wasn't enough to torture Prometheus eternally. Zeus also wanted revenge on humanity for having benefited from the theft. These little mortals think they can benefit from challenging my authority, thought Zeus. I'll show them what happens when they mess with me. I'll create something that feels like a blessing but is actually a curse. And it'll be so irresistible they won't be able to refuse it. And then he had the most sinister idea of his divine career. Zeus called all the Olympian gods to a top-secret meeting and presented his diabolical plan. We will create the first woman in history. Until then, only men existed on Earth. Humanity reproduced. I don't know how. Greek mythology doesn't explain this part very well. But anyway, there were only men living happily ever after. Each of you will give a gift to this creature, Zeus continued, but all gifts will have a dark side. And so began the most macabre project in divine history. Hephaestus, the blacksmith god, molded the woman's body from clay and gave her life. He insisted on creating the most perfect form possible. He wanted her to be absolutely irresistible. Aphrodite gave the most devastating beauty ever. Pandora was so beautiful that any man who looked at her would completely lose his mind. Athena taught her all the feminine arts, weaving, embroidery, cooking, everything a perfect wife needed to know. Apollo gave her the gift of music. Pandora's voice was so sweet it hypnotized anyone. It seemed like the gods were being generous, right? Wrong. Because then came the sinister part. Hermes, the god of trickery, gave Pandora insatiable curiosity and a tendency to lie. In other words, she would be beautiful and talented, but also manipulative and indiscreet. And Zeus gave her the cruelest gift of all. He instilled within her a compulsive need to open anything that was locked. But the final blow was what Zeus gave her as a wedding present, a beautiful golden box filled with precious stones. But with one condition: never open this box. People, the evil of this plan is genius. Zeus created a woman programmed to be curious and gave her exactly what she wasn't supposed to touch. It was like giving chocolate to a child and telling them, "Don't eat it." They would go crazy with curiosity. Pandora was sent to Earth as a gift from the gods to humanity. And of course, humanity was ecstatic. They had never seen anything like it. Epimetheus, Prometheus's brother, fell madly in love with her at first sight. He completely forgot his brother's warning: never accept any gift from Zeus. They were married at a gorgeous party. Pandora seemed like the perfect wife, beautiful, talented, affectionate. All the men were jealous of Epimetheus. But then the psychological torture began. Every day, Pandora looked at that golden box, and her curiosity grew. What could be inside? Why doesn't Zeus want me to open it? It must be something very special. She tried to distract herself by doing embroidery, singing, cooking, but the box was always there, shining, catching her attention. Just a peek, she thought. Just to see what it is. Zeus won't even know. The anxiety grew, until one day she couldn't take it anymore. Screw it! Pandora screamed. I need to know what's in that box. And she opened it. What came out was terrifying. All the misfortunes Zeus had in store for humanity flew out like furious demons. Out came the diseases, plague, cancer, paralysis, madness, horrible creatures that spread throughout the world, infecting all humans. War broke out. Men who were once friends began to kill each other for territory, for resources, for power. Famine broke out. Crops began to fail. The land became less fertile. Out came envy, hatred, betrayal, lies. All the bad feelings that are now part of human nature. In a matter of minutes, the world that was paradise turned into hell. People began to get sick, fight, suffer. Pandora was in panic. What have I done? What have I done? She tried to close the box, but it was too late. All the evils had already escaped and were spreading throughout the world. But just as she was about to close it for good, she heard a faint voice from deep within. Please, don't leave me here alone. It was hope. Zeus had placed it at the bottom of the box, beneath all the evils. Pandora released hope too, and that's why humanity managed to survive all the misfortunes. Because even in suffering, there's always a little hope left. But people, do you realize the cruelty of this plan? Zeus used Pandora as a weapon. He created a woman specifically to destroy the peace of humanity. And on top of that, he made it seem like it was her fault. From that day on, every time something bad happened, men would say, Pandora's fault. If she weren't curious, we'd be living in paradise. Zeus managed to get revenge on humanity and even blame an innocent woman who had been programmed to do exactly what she did. It's the most refined machismo I've ever seen. Creating a woman to be blamed for the world's problems. And the most revolting thing, Pandora had no choice. Zeus literally put compulsive curiosity inside her. It was impossible for her not to open the box. But Greek society used this story to justify prejudice against women for centuries. Women are too curious. They can't keep secrets. They always cause trouble. The real moral of the story isn't curiosity kills. It's beware of poisoned gifts from those who have power over you. Zeus gave humanity exactly what they didn't know they didn't want. A blessing that was a curse in disguise. How often does this happen in real life? Powerful people offering help that is actually sabotage? Gifts that come with impossible conditions. And poor Pandora. The girl was literally created to be the villain in a story she didn't choose to be a part of. But at least she freed hope too. And maybe that was the only thing Zeus didn't plan properly. Because as long as there's hope, there's always a chance to reverse curses, even divine ones. And you, do you think Pandora was the victim or the culprit? And more importantly, if you had a box you couldn't open, would you be able to resist your curiosity? Leave a comment and subscribe for more stories about how the Greek gods were masters of psychological manipulation.